Alright, so we want to look at the next set of data on this worksheet. And I've got 4 different sets of data that we're going to do the same thing with. Alright, so we've looked at how do you put the data into the calculator. We're going to try this first one here. And we're going Stat and Edit. And then we're going to clear out the entries. And we're going to put in this set of data. Okay, starting with 14. So 14, 17.5, 13.5, 12, 16, 15.5. Okay? Remember, we go to Stat, over to Calculate, and we're doing one variation. So we hit number 1. And this now just asks you about the quartiles. Okay? Now, I want you to notice on the screen here, alright, this one says Q1, so that's the first quartile. It's 13.5. Okay? The second quartile is the median, and if you read up here, the second quartile is the median, and that is 14.75. And then the third quartile is named here at 16. Okay? So we have 13.5, 14.75, and 16. Now, one of the things it asks us to do is to draw a box and whiskers. So I want to show you what that looks like. So if we have this number line and we put our numbers on here, I could make a spot for all of them. Okay? We'll start with the smallest one, 12, 13, 14. 15, 16, 17, 18. Now we didn't go over 17.5, so we're going to stop there, okay? Alright, so here's my line with the data points on there. Alright, now I put the little mark in between because that's the half. Alright, so if our first quartile is here, actually is here at 13.5. We're going to put part of the box right there, the end of the box. The second quartile, or the median, is at 14.75. So it's not quite at 15, but we'll put it pretty close. Okay? And then our third quartile is at 16. Okay. Now we're going to make a box out of that. This is our box. Our whiskers will go from the box to the smallest value and from the box to the largest value. Okay? Now, because this data was so close together, the box looks pretty much symmetrical. It looks pretty evenly distributed. Okay? But now sometimes your data is not close together, and that will skew your information. So let's look at C. Okay? All right, we're going to find all of our entry values there. Okay? So we're going to go Stat and Edit, and we're going to clear that out. And then we're going to put on our entries: 92, 88, 65, 82, 92, 102, 82, 32, 39. Okay? Then Stat, Calc, number 1. Alright, we're going to go down to our quartiles here. Okay? So Q1 is 73.5. The median, which is Q2, is 85. And then Q3 is 92. Now, our data looks a little different than the first one. So I'm going to try to make a line that's pretty reasonable. Our smallest value is 39. So I'm going to start with that. Well, we'll start with 39. And we go up to 102. Okay? Now, I'm not going to put it evenly in between there, but I am going to put it by tens maybe. So we'll see what that looks like. Okay, so if that's about 40, so 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. So I didn't quite need that far. 102 would be about right here. Because remember, our whiskers are the big end and the low end, right? That's our whiskers. Now let's try to do this box here, okay? Our first quartile, our first side of the box is at 73.5. So if that's about 40, this is 50, 60, 73.5. Okay, so about here somewhere. All right, and then if our second quartile is at 85, then this is going to be 80. So our second part of our box is there. And then the third quartile is at 92. So if this is 90, then it's going to be about right there. Okay, so there's our box. Remember, our whiskers go from our box to the low end and the high end. Now, this box is skewed. So that means one side is a little longer as far as the whisker is concerned than the other side. So the part that's longer is where we would say it was skewed. So it's pulling from the left. So what it's doing is our data is right here in the box, and we have this number way over here that's trying to pull that box to it because it's further away from your data. So we would say this is skewed left. Okay, skewed just means it's pulling away from your data on one side or the other, and it would be skewed left because this 39 is trying to pull all these big numbers down with it. Okay, we'll get more into that later. All right, so I do want to show you one other thing here on this. Actually, we'll look at these two. So number 13 is what we call a stem and leaf plot. Okay, now there's usually a key at the bottom to tell you what these numbers mean. So this is your hundreds and tens here, okay? And this side is your ones. So you have 12 here and a 5, and that gives you 125. Then you have another 125, and then you have another, well, then you have a 129, okay? So each of these are individual numbers. So when we go to put them in our calculator, we got to make sure we put each number in there. Okay, so I want to show you what that looks like. Excuse me. So let's put these entries in. So I want you to look. It's 125. And there's another 125. Then the next one is 129. All right, now if we go down to 13, you don't see any entries there. So that means we don't have any numbers that start with 1, 3. Now if we go down here, we have one that's 140, 140, 140, 149, 149. So those are the ones you're going to put in there. So 140, 140, 140, 149, 149. All right, then if we go down to 15, we got 156, 158, 158. And then if we go down to the 16, we have 165. All right, so each of the ones positions here are individual numbers. All right, so let's go find our information. We're going over to calc and number 1. All right, and we want our quartiles. Now this is going to fly down on me, but anyway, let's look at all of the information, because this asks for the median. The median's right here, 145, 44.5. The mode, that would be the most frequent number. So if you look here, we have 143 times. That's the most. And then it says, what is the price range? Remember, the range is taking the maximum and subtracting the minimum. So there's a range of $40, because this is talking about dollars, price. Then it says how many DVD players are priced under $150. So right here is where we start getting to $150. So all of these above it are less than 150. So let's count them. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 that are less than 150. And then let's look at our mean. Okay? So remember, we can go back up here to the top. The mean is 144. Actually, yeah, 144.5. So the mean and the median happen to be the same number. All right. Now let's look at our Box and Whiskers outfit here. All right, so they already drew the Box and Whiskers for you. So from this picture, we are going to decide all of these things. Now remember, we said this is Q1, this is Q2, or the median, right? And this is Q3. All right? So the median price would be right here. All right, now let's see, we're going from 25 to 50, so they're probably counting by fives on these tick marks. So if this is 50, 55, 60. So we're going to say $60 here. And then what is the lower quartile price? The lower quartile price. Q1 is our lower quartile. Do you see that? So that is $30. Then our highest price, all right, different question. Highest price. Highest price is here. Lowest price is here. But this says lower quartile price. This was the lowest quartile. All right. The highest price is let's see. This is 125, 130, 135, 140. All right, and then the price range. We're going to take this 140, the high price, and we're going to subtract the low price, which was 20. So the range would be $120.